We are changing the fate of Utah State. Because as Dr. King said, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. These students and faculty are no longer being silent. These are their stories of microaggressions that they've experienced and the hurt that caused. May this be an experience that brings unity, not division.
This made me feel like it was a shame to be white. Like, because I'm a woman, I can't say how I feel.
I get told this often because I'm a happy guy.
So it was kind of a weird dynamic to be accepted into the group at first from what they saw on the surface, but then when they found out I wasn't Mormon, then suddenly I was ostracized.
It wasn't until after that that I really did realize that I was the only minority in the class.
All Native Americans don't live in teepees. Plains tribes did, but my tribe didn't. We're just like people today. We live in houses with electricity, running water.
I've learned my whole life about things like our people being hunted like animals, and so to sit in a classroom where we're studying research with minority populations and to hear the slaughtering of my ancestors referred to as not genocide and not intentional angered me and hurt me and invalidated my whole life experience.
Not all of us have casinos on our reservations. We're more than just casinos and money. We have a culture, we have a language, and we're keeping those traditions alive.
Because when I'm in high school, people fear I'm not going to be in USU or like in college. Don't speak English because I don't speak English really well.
All of us different Hispanics, Latinos, we have our own unique culture, and this hurt me when I heard this.
I hate being called Mexican because I'm half Guatemalan and half Mexican. So I want both of my cultures to be represented.
Just because I'm brown, everyone assumes that I'm from Mexico, so they just assume that Bolivia is in Mexico.
That statement just made me feel like I didn't belong here, like I wasn't supposed to be here.
People automatically assume that because I am brown and not white or part of the culture here, they assume that I have no right or that I'm not from this country.
I felt like victimized because I don't know that people could be so ignorant and just assume things like that just because of the color of your skin.
I'm always questioned for my citizenship, and this made me feel like I'm not an American once again.
One day a girl told me that I was weird, but that it was okay because I was Mexican. To me, what she was really saying is that all Mexicans are weird.
This made me feel like I maybe ought to be ashamed of where I come from and my cultural roots.
It made me feel sad because it reinforces a lot of stereotypes.
I felt like he thought I was stupid. Like, oh, this guy's dumb, he's stupid, he doesn't know what he's doing. All because he's from a different country and his skin's darker and whatnot.
That's hurtful because about stereotyping Asian culture or any culture.
When I hear this, it makes me feel inadequate because I'm not living up to society's expectations.
It was awkward because it was said in public, so it felt humiliating, and I just didn't know how to respond because I didn't want to offend that person either.
It made me feel irritated because I didn't know you could talk white.
This makes me feel like you don't respect my culture or who I am as a person. What that makes me want to say is, nah, I'm Fallon.
Yes, black people have different hair, but it doesn't mean you have to touch it. You can always admire hair from a distance. Hair takes a lot of time and dedication. Look, but don't touch.
It was almost a form of dehumanization. I felt like some sort of breed or a different species than a human.
It made me feel separate, as if I were not a part of anything, which I felt that way my whole life coming from where I came from.
It made me feel like I wasn't human because they didn't ask like where I was from. They just assumed I was something else.
What are you? It wasn't who are you? And it just kind of made me realize that there's so much more to who I am.
This makes me feel alienated because I'm not able to decide which identity I am.
Are you adopted? It made me feel worthless. The people were closed-minded and couldn't see that a white woman and a black man could ever be together and have a kid.
Do you even speak Mexican? This upsets me because I don't speak Mexican. I speak Spanish, and that's something that people don't often get.
You speak Spanish, but you don't have an accent when you speak English. It made me feel annoyed.
When somebody said this to me, it made me a little bit upset. I felt like it was a dig at my race, and that was the only reason why I'm interested in diversity. And it also hurt me on a professional level because I feel that everybody in the field of psychology should be interested in diversity.
That hurt me because I feel like I'm much more worth than just being brown. I got the scholarship because I'm smart and I worked hard for it. Being brown has nothing to do with it.
This made me feel like I wasn't smart enough and I didn't deserve it.
It always makes me wonder like if I'm actually getting something because I'm the best at it. It kind of just makes me feel like I'm meeting a quota no matter what.
I feel hurt that my service dog is constantly treated as a choice. Molly is a medical necessity and must be with me at all times.
This hurt me because I've struggled my whole life with trying to accept my body. And as women, we are constantly taught to believe that the only value we can have in this world is by having a body that is quote-unquote appealing to the male gaze, and a qualification for that, or probably the foremost qualification for that, is to have a thin body. And when this happened to me by a complete stranger who never knew anything about me or what my story was, I felt shamed, and I felt ugly, and I felt worthless.
It felt like if fat girls, quote unquote, had to be ugly. And it felt like I shouldn't be who I am because somebody won't think that I'm pretty enough. And I think it almost lowered my self-esteem for a second because it made me second guess who I was and what I was and why I was.
Faggot, queer, gay, little bitch, queen. It hurts every time. Being gay in Utah and Idaho, even if these words aren't said towards me, every time someone says it, it's hurtful.
Said this to me when I first came out to him, and it was harmful because it felt like he was saying there was something wrong with me when there's not, and that he was saying I need to fix myself.
So someone said that I'm just confused because I am bisexual. I let them know that I'm bisexual, and that made me feel a little bit hurt because I don't like people telling me what I am, and I know what I am. I'm not confused. So.
That was just so demeaning. When someone comes out as straight, you don't ask them if they like dick now. Why does it matter if I like girls?
It sounded oddly contradictory. How can you be okay with someone but not okay with them having equal rights?
Well, I'm gay, and for the first 2 or 3 years I started hearing this after I first came out. I thought it was true, but then I realized it's not.
What does a boy look like? You're telling me I don't pass, and that's really sad because people just want to look like themselves.
So I felt like I wasn't real, like I was invalidated as a person. As a trans man, that's not okay to ask. I am a real man. I've always been a man. And my name is what I chose, and that's real.
Microaggressions in the form of stereotypes, assumptions, ignorance, racism, discrimination, sexism, ableism, sizeism, and homophobia happen on a daily basis. We have all been the victim, and we have all been the culprit. However, we are also the solution.
Because how we treat each other isn't up to chance. It's a choice. Join the movement as we learn how to treat others the way that they want to be treated.